Welcome back to The Explainer. Okay, let's jump straight into this, because we are tackling a painfully common, yet totally preventable tragedy in the business world today. Picture this. You've done absolutely everything right. You've successfully designed an irresistible high-ticket offer, your brand authority is rock solid, and you've completely automated your back-end infrastructure. It is a masterpiece. But then, the exact second you step into a live Zoom call with a high-value prospect, you completely blow the deal. Why does this happen? Well, it almost always comes down to a sudden drop in operational posture. Today, we're going to fix that for good. We are breaking down the exact framework the global elite use to close high-ticket clients with absolute composure.
So here is our blueprint for today. We'll start with the high-ticket sales trap, then move into developing a diagnostic operational posture. After that, we'll explore the power of silence, break down exactly how to neutralize client objections, and finally, command your true worth. This is a precise three-stage mathematical framework designed to turn you from a nervous seller into an elite closer.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the high-ticket sales trap.
So many entrepreneurs build these incredible back-end systems, but the second they have to actually ask for money, the whole thing just unravels. They fall right into the trap. It's a stark contrast, really. Think about the desperate salesman. This is the person who gets on a call and immediately shifts into begging for a transaction. You know the type. They're pitching features, arguing over value, and worse, trying to manipulate someone into buying something they might not even need. It's exhausting. But on the flip side, you have the sovereign operator. This person is calm, diagnostic, and completely emotionally detached from the outcome of the call. They maintain their elite composure no matter what.
What we really need to do here is redefine what we are actually doing. High-ticket sales is a deep psychological diagnostic process. It is absolutely not pitching or manipulation. Look, when you're asking a client to invest 5, 10, or even 20 grand into your ecosystem, your entire vibe has to shift. Your tone, your phrasing, and your emotional detachment, all of that dictates whether that prospect perceives you as a cheap line-item expense or an indispensable high-value asset. You simply cannot ask for a massive investment while carrying bargain bin energy.
All right, moving on to Section 2, the diagnostic operational posture. Let's look at how to take immediate command from literally the first second.
Most standard freelancers or agency owners act like vendors. They jump on a call and boom, they immediately start listing features, their software tools, the hours they'll work, how awesome their team is. It's all focused purely on their own effort and their own ego. But here is the harsh truth. High-ticket prospects do not care about your tools or your ego. They only care about their own return on investment. So compare that vendor mindset to a doctor. A top-tier, board-certified physician never walks into an exam room and starts randomly pitching medication. No way. They ask targeted diagnostic questions. They identify the root cause of the pain, and only then do they prescribe a precise treatment plan. You have got to stop acting like a vendor and start operating like a doctor.
And to act like a doctor, you must rigorously diagnose the business pain. This means asking very specific questions. What is their current monthly revenue? What are their exact financial targets? What are the operational bottlenecks that are actively preventing them from closing that gap? Why this matters is pure psychology. When you ask these specific questions, the prospect actually has to verbally articulate their own pain. As they hear themselves describe the gap in their business, their subconscious mind automatically starts preparing itself to accept your system as the ultimate solution. You aren't selling here, you are diagnosing.
That brings us to Section 3, the power of silence. Now listen, this is exactly where 95% of inexperienced operators completely drop the ball.
There is an ironclad law of high-ticket closing. Let's say your system costs $5,000. The moment the prospect asks for the price, weak sellers panic. They hesitate, they stutter, or honestly, worst of all, they immediately offer unprompted discounts because they're projecting their own financial insecurity. They'll say something like, well, it's $5,000, but if you sign today, I can do $3,000. No. That hesitation signals that you don't truly believe in the economic value of your own offer. You have to state the total capital investment with absolute clarity and total confidence. The investment is $5,000. And then, silence. You stop speaking entirely. It really is that simple. In any high-stakes negotiation, the person who speaks first after the price is revealed loses all their leverage.
If you break that silence just because you feel a little awkward, what are you doing? You are instantly justifying your fee and completely diluting your authority. But holding silence isn't just a power move. It's a mathematical necessity. During that quiet pause, the prospect's brain is rapidly calculating the value-to-cost ratio. You have to give them the space to process the investment. Allowing that silence to exist does all the heavy lifting for you.
Section 4, neutralizing client objections.
We really need to completely reframe how we view pushback. An objection is not a rejection. A master operator understands that an objection is simply a buying signal masked as resistance. If a prospect says the investment is too high, it doesn't mean they won't buy. It simply means you haven't clearly demonstrated the asymmetric upside of the outcome just yet. They just need more clarity on the value. It's your cue to clarify, not your cue to start arguing.
So, how do we actually handle it? We follow 3 precise steps. First, you calmly acknowledge the objection. Again, maintaining that doctor's posture we talked about. Second, you reframe the conversation. You shift their perspective from seeing it as a cost to seeing it as a capital allocation. And third, you introduce a risk reversal or a performance guarantee. By doing this, you instantly remove the friction that's preventing the prospect from taking action. You're pivoting the whole conversation around risk mitigation instead of defensively justifying your price tag.
And finally, Section 5, Commanding Your True Worth. I want you to really internalize this mindset. $5,000 is not a cost, but an allocation of capital designed to generate $50,000 in business enterprise value. That is exactly how you explain it to the client. The era of relying on low-margin work and endlessly manually chasing down clients is officially over. It is time for you to translate your specialized knowledge into high-ticket enterprise agreements. You are allocating their capital to generate massive enterprise value for them.
So I leave you with this final critical question. Are you ready to stop chasing clients and start prescribing solutions? Diagnose their business bottlenecks like a specialist, hold firm on your pricing through the power of silence, and execute this closing matrix. But remember, the moment you close them, that's when the real game begins. That's when you deploy the retention engine. The true elite don't just build one-off transactional businesses. They build recurring subscription models and high-ticket lifetime ecosystems. You take that single client payment and turn it into years of compounding, recurring revenue through automated monthly optimization and deep ecosystem integration. You become the digital nervous system of their enterprise, because at the end of the day, it is far more expensive to acquire a new client than it is to retain an existing one. Command your worth, secure your recurring revenue, and achieve absolute economic sovereignty. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.